Welcome to Fitting It, the Hair Made Easy podcast, all about hair extensions, business, and industry innovation. Today we're joined by Ellie, Mia, and Samantha Spencer from YOU Manchester, and we're talking about entrepreneurship, education, and their new Pilates studio. Let's get started. Okay. So, girls, let's do your quick fire questions. Who inspires you, Mia, in the industry?
I'd have to say Chris Appleton, because he was an average guy from Leeds and now he's touring the whole world. So definitely inspires me.
Absolutely amazing.
Unreal.
To watch. Ellie?
I know that a lot of people usually have famous people who inspire them, but for me, it is actually my team. So the girls in here are just so hardworking, creative, motivated, and they inspire me every day. So they're mine.
I love that. I love that. Sam?
So mine isn't a who, really. I kind of get inspired by brands. So people like yourself, to be honest, Nicola. People that have come from literally nothing, done a start-up, got themselves to where they are today. Like, that's what I really want for us and our businesses. So it's getting to that bigger brand level, and that's what inspires me every day.
Yeah, I love that. Oh, thank you. You made my day.
Thank you.
So, what is your favourite way to unwind on your day off?
Oh, a bit of a tough question. I don't think we unwind that often.
We do not. We literally don't.
If I could plan a perfect day to unwind that would not usually
start
happen,
there, I feel.
probably go to the gym, because even though that might not be unwinding for some people, it's a good stress reliever.
Yeah.
And then just go to a nice bakery, get a pastry, get a coffee, just eat loads of food. That's my perfect day.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah,
Mine would definitely be the gym, going for a run.
Yeah.
Running definitely unwinds my
Gym
mind.
first and then food afterwards. So you don't feel guilt. Yeah.
Mine would just be quiet. So just
A room of silence.
just silence at home, on the couch, glass of red wine. That's how I would wind
That is
down.
definitely your type
It
of
is, that's
unwinding
very
night.
true.
It's a great day off, that, Sam. I love it. Okay, so which Hair Made Easy tool can you not live without?
I cannot live without the preloaded rings. They have literally changed my life. I remember sitting, loading all these nano beads onto a ring feeder. It used to take about 10 minutes out of my appointment, which doesn't sound like a lot of time. But then we can literally just do it in 5 seconds. I was like, life transformed. How did I not know this before? So that has definitely changed my life 1000%.
Brilliant.
I have two. So mine's the paddle brush, because do a lot of blondes and backcombing, and that just literally gets the knots out straight away and it's pain free. And the blow drying brushes, they are a game changer. I actually couldn't live without them.
It's hard to pick one, to be honest.
It
I
is
feel
hard to pick
like
one.
if you would have said top 5, probably would have been a bit easier. But
It's just
I
something
agree with
that
Ellie.
everything, and you need everything, don't you?
1000%.
Brilliant.
And I just have
love
to go
that.
off what these two recommend. Obviously.
Sam just
I
comes
don't
in,
do
is like,
hair,
what's good
guys,
for my hair? What can I take home?
So if you were going to choose one fitting method within extensions, what would it be?
I feel like I'd have to say a weave, just because that's what I started out with. I still have it now, along with tapes. But I feel like the weave is just like the OG method. I feel like it's really easy, it's really quick. Sometimes I like to make myself a bit dolled up, but most of the time I'm really low maintenance. And I feel like a weave is just the perfect method for that. I've always loved it.
Okay.
I mean, Mia is our extensionist, the extension queen. I don't really do that many extensions, but Mia does force me to do hers. So I probably would say I enjoy doing tapes.
Okay.
Tapes are definitely my favourite
Yeah,
now. I just
you're
find
more
them
of
the
a taper.
easiest to do. So yeah, that would be mine.
Okay. Do you have them fitted, Sam?
I don't. This is all
Sam
mine.
got blessed with the
Natural.
good natural hair. So Sam and Ellie did, to be fair. I like the baldy in the family, so I don't know what's going on with me.
You got a baldy.
I know, it's ever since I was little, never grew a lot of hair, but here we are. That's what extensions are for.
So if you were going to choose one styling product, what would your styling product be?
Ooh.
You can't use any other. It's just one styling product.
Couldn't I live without?
I'd probably say the Kerastase Premier leave-in treatment. Couldn't live without that.
Oh,
It
I've not tried that.
detangles, it smooths, it
It's so
shines. I feel like that's probably going to be
Is
yours
that the
as
8
well,
hour
isn't
one?
it?
No, it's the pre-blow drying serum, and it's heat activated. So when you blow the hair, it just makes it so smooth.
And the smell,
it smells unreal.
When you walk into a room, you smell like expensiveness has come into the room. But it heat protects, it detangles. It's like you're all rounder. It's got everything you need, basically.
I would say that, and the elixir oil. The elixir oil is definitely amazing. I don't think I could live without that either. That's just a really good after blow dry product.
Can I buy some before we leave?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Right, okay, so let's get straight into it now. Let's talk about business. So what made you start up a salon? Where was the idea for that?
I think it came from wanting to kind of break the stereotype of, like the bitchy kind of environment that certain salons bring. I personally wanted to create a space where everyone and anyone could come in and feel comfortable and leave feeling $1 million without walking in and feeling intimidated as soon as they walked into the room.
I think
I've definitely felt like that before. I'm not saying
We've all been there,
like that.
Yeah. We've all been there.
It is not a nice experience, and I've been there myself. So we just wanted to create like a fun, safe environment, and that's what like inspired me to open a shop, definitely. And I think we've managed that like quite well.
Yeah, the feedback we get from the clients that we have here are
Yeah.
that they just really enjoy the experience coming into You Manchester. They get treated as an equal. It's a nice premium luxury feel without being too overwhelming. And the girls that we've got in here, the team is just incredible.
Yeah.
So it's a nice environment to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
And to say it's such a busy salon as well, I just find when you walk in, it's quite calming. And I don't know why it's so calming, because there's so much going on.
I think
It's
we're also
chaotic,
used
but
to the
managed
chaos.
chaos.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like we find calm in that now, because that's just normal for us. And then when you actually, like Sam said before about unwinding in a silent room, that's when you realise how chaotic the day's been.
Yeah.
When you're in it, you're so used to it that you do just make it into a calm space.
Yeah.
And it is nice that it has that buzz, but everyone has their own individual client that they're with, and they have their own personal experience with us too. So I think we've managed that quite well, really. Yeah.
So, I mean, when we talk about women entrepreneurs, we know it's not that easy. It isn't. It's a hard industry to get into. A lot of salon owners, they struggle a little bit with the entrepreneurship side of it and building your brand and, doing all those things. You just seem to do it so well. What's your secret?
I wouldn't say that like it's been a smooth sailing road. I feel like we may make it look that way, but there's definitely been a lot of bumps in the road. We've just had to figure things out. We've not known a lot of these things to start with, and we've just had to learn as we go. And there's been a lot of trial and error behind the scenes. But I think it's always finding the answer to the problem and not giving up until you've found it that keeps you going.
Yeah.
I think not wanting to find a solution is where people probably fail. But carrying on going and looking for those answers is the way that you're going to succeed.
It's your resilience, isn't it? It's being resilient.
Exactly. It's okay to make mistakes. And I remember when we first started off, something would happen, or you'd have a customer complaint, which everybody gets. We don't get that many, but when you do, obviously you've got to handle them the right way.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we take things so personally, and it'd be the end of the world for us.
That's been the hardest thing, to like not take everything
Knowing
so
what to take,
personally.
Exactly. And it's just finding ways to overcome that. And it's just taking it day by day, really. Like we said, nobody's perfect. We're definitely not perfect. And it's just learning from everything.
I think we complement each other as well as sisters,
We do.
because something that I might take personally, you might say, Ellie, like, we don't need to go about that this way or whatever. And we all have different opinions, and we kind of calm each other down.
Yeah.
Because we are all very different but the same.
And I think we all find as well, when one of us is having a bad day, it's more than likely that the other two are not having a not so bad day, so we can lift each other up.
Lift each
through
other
that
up where
as
we
well.
need to, I think that definitely helps.
Definitely. I don't know how people do it on their own, because I feel like
Literally, I couldn't do it without you two.
having a support network makes the biggest difference.
And you're so close as well as sisters out of the salon as well, aren't
And
you?
I do think this has brought us closer, definitely.
1000%. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, we still argue like sisters, like
all the time.
all the time. Like, where's my charger? Where's this top? Blah blah blah. But when it comes down to business, we really do just support each other through everything.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do.
Because how old are you, Mia?
21.
21. Ellie, how old are you?
27.
I'm 30.
I knew she didn't want to answer that.
But you're such a young team,
30
and to have your own
thriving.
salon and, to be doing what you're doing at such a young age. How have you found that in the industry? So, things like, you know, you've got a Keristes account and, you know, they've took you serious. Have you found anywhere along the way that people haven't took you serious? Were you all right with the bank setting up, you know, things like that? Did you find your ages were ever taken into account, or has it just all been, has it been fine that you're only a young team?
I definitely feel like my age, when people used to ask me my age, I used to dread that question being asked to me. I think because I am the youngest as well, people would just assume that I'm sort of Ellie and Sam's age, and I used to dread that question being asked. But I feel like in my appointments, for example, I'd rather get to the end of the appointment, them see what the work I've produced and then ask me, because then they can't judge me off my age to start with. But I think we've always had it in us all from a really young age to want to be hardworking and want to build something successful. So I think we've all been like that at our younger ages as well.
Yeah.
Definitely
What you've just explained. I went through that when I was your age too. So before you started hairdressing and I was hairdressing, I was exactly the same. Like, I didn't want people to ask me how old I was. But I think we've all, because of you, have been a bit more mature than our actual ages. Because every time I used to tell people how old I was, they were like, oh my God, no way. Like, you're that young.
And you
people
still get
say
that
to you now
too.
So I think it's been passed down.
Yeah,
you know.
because I've been the same in my profession as well, like going into meetings full of people a lot older than me and trying to get my point across and be heard. And I think within the team as well that we've got here at YOU Manchester, we don't look at people's age, look at people's talent. I think that's really, really important. It wouldn't say, oh, you need to wait till X time to be able to do this because you're only this age at this point. We don't do that. We look at
and
how
we do
people
get
are
questioned on it, but it's not even a question in our mind as to whether they can execute that job or not. Like, we know that they can. So age is just a number for us in here.
And I think that helps because you've all started so young. And you're all,
definitely.
You know, it's all going so amazing for you. What do you do outside of the salon? Sorry, Sam, I know that you're the business brains of the salon, but what do you do outside?
So I juggle a few things. So I've got a full-time job in marketing. So I do brand partnerships, commercial for a travel company. So that's my 9 to 5. And then I am here at the salon in the evenings and the weekends, and obviously managing the business side of that outside of my 9 to 5. And then we recently opened a Pilates studio in August, which we'll talk about later, but doing that as well. And then I used to also look after my partner's accounts for his business as well. So I've recently...
I'm a busy bee.
So yeah.
No wonder you like a glass of wine on the sofa.
I'm like, croissant. Sam's like, wine, straight to the wine.
My head is in a spreadsheet at all times. So I'm constantly on my laptop. I always come into the salon with like 10 laptops in my hand. I'm like juggling between the two. But I love it. I love to be busy.
We need you though. Like, that is a massive thing that you do for us. I mean, I've just recently learned how to use spreadsheets. When Sam's on holiday, I have to take over Sam's job. And
You're
when I
flying
first
with
did
the spreadsheets now.
But when I first did it, I was like, how does she actually sit at this computer for this many hours to do these spreadsheets? It was so hard. But yeah, we appreciate you a lot.
And it's good that you can all get stuck in and do each other's jobs because, like you say, if someone goes away, they're not stressing, thinking, oh, what am I going to do when I get back? I'm going to have all this work to do. But obviously, you can all just jump in, can't you?
Exactly. That's definitely a perk of there being 3 of us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you ever argue? Do you ever find yourselves
arguing
about salon decisions? Do you ever like get in heated debates about salon decisions?
All the time.
Me and Sam have had so many arguments.
I think I managed to stay out of it quite a lot of the time, but I think since we opened the studio,
you calm us both down.
I don't get too stressed about things. Like, I feel like you two can be a bit hot-headed
We've both got very strong opinions, and we both think about things very differently. So Ellie's very creative, which is a massive strength of Ellie's, and I'm very kind of business financial.
Does it fit into the spreadsheet?
So Ellie will say, "Can we have a waterfall in the salon?" And I'm like, "No, we can't."
Can we have a moss wall?
No, but things like that. So yeah, we do. Like butt heads sometimes.
We were actually at Sam's house the other day, and her boyfriend said to us that we are working so much better together. Like, we communicate on such a better level now, because when we first opened, we just had a difference of opinions completely.
Yeah.
And then we wouldn't speak for 3 days, and it would just be awful, wouldn't it, really?
And it's so nice that I don't have to mediate anymore, because I was like, she said this, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm in the middle of it.
Well, that's the best thing about being a family and being sisters. We forgive very quickly and we get over it, and we come to a solution, like, literally within a couple of days. It's just, sometimes we can, clash. But but we're fine.
We're
now.
getting better.
So what would you say sets you apart? You know, when you look around the salon now, it's absolutely stunning. We'll do a little pan round later. But what sets you apart? What made you feel like this was going to be your niche and this was what you were going to do? What sets you apart in that way?
It's a good question.
It's a very good question.
I think this space is very different to other salons, and we're constantly innovating. So we don't just sit on this. It's changed a lot since I think you came in the past few months, and we've been open 3 years in April.
Yeah.
We don't just sit on, oh, right, the salon's okay, let's just keep it ticking over.
Yeah.
We're constantly like, how can we improve it? Do we need to? We just had a new floor put in, for example. We don't want things looking tatty. We want to make sure that we're constantly upholding that customer experience and for our staff as well. So how can we advertise better? How can we make from a client walking in to leaving feel better? The Pilates studio, I mentioned it before, but we now enable our customers to be able to pre-order anything from our wellness menu, get it delivered to their chair. There's all different things. We've just
we're
onboarded
constantly
Keras,
thinking of new things, aren't we?
Yeah, the best products only for our customers that are in the salon. We're constantly thinking about new ways that we can uphold that premium label that we give ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And aside from like the aesthetics, I think we really do focus on like a personal journey for the customer that comes through the door. Like we really focus on how we can keep a client coming back by making them feel like they're on a journey with us.
Yeah.
And how they can feel that it is really all about them. Like our tagline is, it's all about you. And it really is. Like we're very in depth with that. And I think that's really important.
And I think you have got that. You've got that magic between you and your team. When you walk in, you do feel like you're part of the family.
And the
really
team
care,
do
we
really
care.
individually care about people, and that's not even put on. That is they genuinely do care about the clients.
Everyone's
and I think
got
that
such
makes
a
a
good heart in here.
difference.
And it's so hard to like put a group of girls together and everyone kind of align and have such a good heart and communication with the clients, because it's really hard to put a group of girls together and get that.
The team itself gels, and then they gel with their clients, and as a whole, it just works really, really well together.
And if you're happy in work, you're going to project that onto your clients as
Exactly.
well, which I think is like where we do differ from a lot of other salons. If you're miserable in work, then that's what you're going to give to your client. If you're happy, they're going to be able to feel that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think part of it as well is the way that you innovate. So, you know, I watch the way that you work, me, and I watch the way that you fit, and same with you. You know, when you're doing your blonding, and you know some of the ways that you bring things to the table that other people are not necessarily doing. How do you keep on top of all that? How do you decide what you're going to do next and what you're going to try next, and who do you try it on?
I think we learn a lot from each other in here, really, don't we? I learn a lot from you, definitely. If there's like a new technique or something like that. I mean, I know that you don't particularly love fitting my extensions for me, but
you've made me a lot better at them. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. But I think we just kind of take bits from each other, and we're constantly doing each other's hair in here anyway. So we've got plenty of guinea pigs to be practicing.
I just try things. A lot of my clients just say to me most of the time, just do whatever you want to do, which is great, and I'm very lucky to have that. So if I ever feel like I want to try a new trend or place a foil a different way or blow dry in a different order, I will just give it a go, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
It's about having the confidence in yourself as
Exactly,
well,
yeah.
and not being afraid to try new things, because we have such a close relationship with our clients. If something doesn't work, or they'll know that we've done it with the best intentions, and you can fix it.
Yeah, and they do feel like they could say to us if they didn't like something, or so.
I think also you've got a bit of a role model duty to the rest of the girls. So if Ellie doesn't try it, they won't try it. So you're always testing new things, aren't you?
Yeah.
And then they're coming to you for advice, which is great. So
it is good. I think you have, as Mia said, it's just a confidence thing, I think. And I think once one person does it and then a second person does it, kind of just rolls out that way.
Yeah.
But I'm not scared to try new things. I'll always just throw myself in at the deep end and see what happens.
And do you see stuff like that on social media, or do you tend to just think, oh, I'll try this?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes I'll just think, I know that that's going to look that way if I do it this way.
Yeah.
And then weirdly enough, it becomes a trending thing on social media. So it's almost like you do it and then everyone's doing it.
the trend.
Yeah. It's like, whoa, where did this come from? But yeah, sometimes I do get my inspiration I get a lot of inspiration from Australia. A lot of Australian hairdressers are
They're in front, aren't
do.
they? The blonding's insane.
In terms of blonding, yeah. So I do get a lot of inspo from them. But I do just try new things all the time, and it does work for me a lot of the time. So, and then the other girls try that too, and it just flows.
So do you get yourselves on courses? Is there a lot of education going on? Do you find that you learn from, your colour brand that you use? Who are you using for your colours at the minute? Who are you working with?
We use L'Oreal.
Right, okay.
For colours. And then
do they come in and do training with the girls?
Yeah, they are really good with the education side of things. We do encourage the girls, just to make sure they're furthering their education all the time. You get a lot of social media now, which, I mean, one-to-one courses aren't as big of a thing anymore because you can buy everything online. But I personally think doing like a hands-on course is so much better than doing it online because you're getting more of that personal development with someone.
Yeah.
So we do encourage that a lot. But they are great. Yeah, L'Oreal do a lot of education with us.
I know last time I bobbed in, they'd just been in and they'd just done a full day and you were all really excited about the new techniques that they're showing.
If they've got anything new coming out, any new colours coming out, any new placements, they always tell us first, which is really, really helpful for the girls as well.
Great.
And it kind of just refreshes their knowledge because there is stuff that you can forget about the longer you're in this industry, and sometimes taking it back to basics is the best thing that you can do.
Yeah.
And go on.
It's okay. I think as a hairdresser as well, you could think that you know everything there is to know, and there'll always be something that you don't know. And it's carrying on learning and all the time and evolving that's gonna keep your clients with you as well. Because if we stayed, for example, in 2025, in 5 years' time, people are probably not going to be having what's in 2025 now.
What type of education do you offer?
So I do a lot of one-to-one courses with the girls in the salon. So trying to get people training extensions because there's only 2 of us that do it at the minute.
Okay.
And there's a lot of demand for it.
Yeah.
Sam keeps messaging me like, "Oh my God, can't get anyone in your diary for 3 months." I'm like, "Well, you need to get the girls trained up." So I'm doing a lot of one-to-one courses and extensions. That's my passion, I'd say. Extensions has always been something I've absolutely loved doing. So trying to give that education to the other girls in the salon as well to further the client reach for it is something that I do really enjoy doing. So I'd say we do that every 2 to 3 months just to like refresh the knowledge and go through things that they might be struggling with.
Brilliant.
So I have my own course, which is a blonde and blending course. It's colour focused. My passion is obviously blonde and blending. So I do one-to-one training with people who travel from all over the country to come to me to learn my techniques. I think it's really important because when you leave college or an apprenticeship, whatever it is that you do when you first get into the industry, you do just kind of get thrown into a salon, and then people are asking for a balayage, a money piece, a colour melt, and you don't really learn all that in college. And it like upsets me that a little bit because I feel like there isn't enough education out there for people who have left that style of training to be brought into an environment like this and literally have no clue what they're doing. I definitely had to learn a lot on my own. So I focus on giving that training to people to help them further their knowledge and their education. And people who have been in the industry for a while and want to refresh the knowledge on what's going on now, like they come to me as well. So it's kind of for everyone. But yeah, that's what I do personally.
I'm a little bit biased, but it is amazing. I've had to be a model on one of her courses before.
Yeah, you have.
And
it was great.
the detail she goes into about colour placement and just the personalised experience that she gives these people that are just coming from wherever, it's so lovely. And you have such amazing feedback. So I'm just so proud of you. I'm proud of both of you.
I think I've been on courses myself, and I think sometimes they give you the bare minimum. And you leave thinking like, oh, I want the people.
Are you an oversharer, Ellie?
I'm an oversharer.
She is.
I am an oversharer, but I just want everyone to have their own, I want them to just do really well. So I do overshare, but they love it and it's great. And I have had really good feedback from it.
I think if you overshare as well, though, they come back.
Yeah, they do.
They'll come back and they'll come on another course. So you've done colour melts. They might come and do a balayage course with you. So, if you've done that oversharing, it's nice to know that they're going to come back to you anyway, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And then they feel like afterwards as well, they can message me. If I have multiple girls saying, oh, like, what toner would you recommend for this? And I don't mind being that person for people. I think it's really helpful. And I wish someone would have done that for me. So that's why I do it for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mia, just talking about the hair extension industry at the minute, we're going to talk about the standards of education that's out there at the minute. Do you feel like we're getting anywhere with improving the industry?
It's hard to say, because obviously in any industry, any line of work, there's going to be, I don't want to say like good and bad, but there's going to be more educated people and less educated people. And I think it's what you see the most of. But I do think hair has been a thing for years. You've had to go to college, get your qualification. Obviously now there's a lot more advanced courses as well. But I think it has been picked up a lot recently as kind of like, I wouldn't say self-taught, but kind of more going down that road. And sometimes I will get clients come in who need the hair refitting or have had a disaster somewhere else. And looking at the standard of work, I just think surely someone with a qualification wouldn't have been able to produce that. So that does worry me.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah,
actually,
and I think people...
Quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
but I think that speaks about the hair industry as a whole and how much of a misconception there has been over the years that it's such an easy job to get into. It's for, you know, if you've not got any other qualifications, you can just do it. It's a doddle, and it's really not at all. There's so much that goes into it, education, courses, and it's really not as easy as it looks. But I think there's been this stigma around hairdressing for the longest time, that people now take it up as maybe like a bit of a side hustle or, you know, something for a bit of extra money, and it can cause really bad damage to people's hair.
Yeah.
So I definitely think it needs to be monitored more closely, and I wish there wasn't so many situations like that, but I've seen it firsthand with people who've come to me and had disasters with the hair. So.
Yeah. And how do the clients, what sort of state do the clients come into you then? Because obviously
yeah, definitely.
Because the hair's it's a big deal, isn't it?
Even I've had clients come to me who haven't come specifically with their hair extensions in, but I might be doing the colour and we'll be talking about hair extension. They'll be like, oh, I would never have a weave in because it really damaged my hair last time, or I would never wear tapes because I got bald patches last time. And I'm like, who's been fitting this hair for you? And there's such like miseducation around it. People think it damages your hair and it can cause all these issues for you. And I'm like, fitted correctly with the proper placement and with the proper aftercare, that should not be happening. And it's the hairdresser's job to educate the client on how to do the proper aftercare. And if their application's right, no one should be having this fear of hair extensions.
Yeah,
and it
absolutely.
upsets me that people think they can't turn to hair extensions to feel more confident because they're fearful of the damage it may cause.
Yeah. And I think there's so much of it out there as well, which is the scary thing. And it's who do they go to? So where is the standard? Who's got those standards?
But then it's hard at the minute as well, because obviously the cost of everything's rising. Things are getting more expensive. It's getting more expensive for us to buy products. It's getting more expensive for people to pay for their appointments. So I think sometimes people are kind of just looking for a quick, cheaper fix, which I do completely understand, but at the detriment of your hair, and then having to go through sometimes years of recovering that, it's just not worth it.
No, 100% agree. So I know how much you like getting the community involved in what you do, and you know you're really passionate about that. What have you got in the pipeline community-wise?
Well, we've done a couple of events already, haven't we, over the past couple of years?
Yeah.
So we held a charity walk from Manchester to the Salon. Was it last year, year before? Year before. And we partnered with Manchester Mind. We've done like wedding events in the past. So now we're trying to think about how can we incorporate them into each year, and can we turn them into like quarterly events?
Yeah.
We're partnering with Balance Kitchen over at the Pilates studio. So we're thinking about how can we address topics amongst women moving forward. And something that we are looking at for the next couple of months, potentially launching on International Women's Day.
I love that.
It's an event with Balance Kitchen and with the studio and the salon. And we've not formed it completely yet. But we want to address like topics like endometriosis and get charities involved and that sort of thing. And things that affect women on a day-to-day basis, things that customers are coming into the salon and talking to the stylists about, because we know that it can be like therapy when you're coming in here, and there's all these things that people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis, which is why we chose Manchester Mind to partner with on our first charity event, because we thought it was really, really important. So we're just kind of forming the structure of that at this moment in time and how we can kind of bring them into fruition. So, that's
it sounds really exciting.
It's going to be really good.
Oh, we'd love to be involved as well, guys.
Yeah, of course.
1000%.
Yeah.
Give us a shout when it's
Yeah,
all going
definitely.
ahead. We'll definitely partner up on that one.
Fabulous.
Sounds brilliant. So we've already talked about working together as sisters. How do you balance a relationship? How do you make sure that, you know, you've got your work-life balance? It's even more work-life balance for you because you're together all the time.
Question. Work-life balance is non-existent.
No. I think at first we did try to like set
We
some
started giving each
boundaries.
other a day for ourselves, but we
set
didn't.
But we
days,
can't help
set hours.
ourselves.
Yeah, we had set times people would answer the messages, but then me and Mia would be with a client and we'd be busy, and then someone would be like, "This person's not been replied to. What's going on?" And it just didn't work.
It
did
would,
it?
no.
I
I mean, me and my partner, it's hard as well. He's got his own business, so sometimes we go weeks where we've like literally don't speak to each other. We'll come in, he'll go out, I'll come in, then I'll go out. So it's a little bit crazy. We book holidays now because then we have to speak to each other.
Spend time together.
Yeah, I think you have to put dates in the diary, don't we? And we tend to like say to each other, we said last night, shall we book a meal?
Yeah.
And just go and like actually spend some time together, because sometimes we are guilty of getting into a habit of only speaking to each other about work, and
Yeah.
we are sisters at the end of the day as well, and we do actually like each other. We're not just business partners.
And don't get me
was like
wrong,
that for a long
sometimes when we
time,
do
wasn't
go
it?
out on these meals, we'll still end up talking about work
It's like,
sometimes.
no.
But you just can't help yourself. I think like when you share so much of your life and you're together constantly, you know what's
Yeah.
going on in each other's lives. You don't necessarily need a catch up. So it slips in that you talk about work, but I think it is really important to spend that like quality time together as well.
Yeah.
I think as well, like not putting too much pressure on getting things done in that day. I think you definitely used to put way too much pressure on yourself to finish your to-do list. If it wasn't finished, you
Oh,
would
yeah,
be
my
up
to-do
till
list.
like 2,
Yeah.
3 a.m. finishing that to-do list. But now
Yeah.
you've learned how to say,
Became an
no, it's too
obsession.
much today.
Yeah.
I'll look at it tomorrow instead. And
Yeah.
it's taken a while.
It has.
But
It
we
has.
are learning how to say no to things, to prioritise doing stuff for us that
Yeah.
we enjoy.
That's the
outside of
hardest thing
work.
in the world.
It's so
It
hard.
really is. It really is.
It is hard.
When you've sussed it out, can you just...
We'll let you know.
We're still trying. We are still trying.
It's really hard not to put pressure on yourself, especially when
We're
you're
getting a
still
bit better at it,
growing
though.
and you're trying to achieve something. But
And you're so passionate about it as well,
We
which
really
is...
are.
And I think
We
because
really
we
are.
are sisters, we feel each other's emotions. So like if Sam's stressed, we're stressed. If Ellie's upset, we're all upset. So I think that's like hard to differentiate with sometimes, but it has its pros and its cons because you care so much, you want
Yeah.
things to work so much at the same time.
Yeah,
I think
of course.
understanding as well that like owning your own business is never ending. Like it's not you do this and then everything's great and then you don't have to do anything anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's constantly.
That's such a misconception.
It's such a
though.
misconception.
Like before we went into this, and I feel like you'll both agree, you thought build a business, retire at 30, you're a millionaire, like, and that is just not the way, and it's really not glamorous at all.
It's actually not.
And
It's
the way
really
people
not.
perceive it to be, but it's actually really quite toxic, like, if we're going to get a little bit deep about it. But if you look on, like, Instagram, TikTok, people are showing you this version of their lives that is just looks so perfect, and they look like they've got, can I swear on this podcast? Or not really? They look like they've got they look like they've got their stuff together, I'll say. And they look like they've got everything all figured out,
Yeah.
and they really don't at all. And I think the reality of it is so different. Like
It's really
sometimes
hard.
we're eating tea at like 10 o'clock. We've not like stopped all day. And
Yeah.
I think it needs to stop being kind of glamorized.
Yeah.
Yeah, and perceived in this way that it's not, because a lot of hard work and effort goes into it. There are a lot of high points, don't get me wrong, but there are a lot of lows as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
no
I
one
think,
tells you like how it really is when
Yeah.
you own your own business. It is hard, and you know, as you were saying before, like you do take things very personally, and you're a perfectionist. You want everything to be right all the time, and it's impossible for like one person to take all that on.
Yeah.
and it can really take a mental toll on you sometimes.
It can.
We've all like had a day where we've just like lost it, but I think it's
Lost the plot. literally.
yeah. I think it's getting through them days and like building yourself back up, and then when that day happens again, it'll be a little bit easier than the last time you have it. But you've got to know that them days are always going to come back around where you're going to
Yeah.
have a bit of a wobble.
Yeah.
because that's just what happens.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah.
And that's just natural, isn't it? It's all part of being a business owner.
Yeah, definitely.
It's all part of that. We were talking before, weren't we? And I was sat up till 3 o'clock this morning, just,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sat typing away on my
Yeah.
computer because I'd got into the zone. You get in the zone, don't you? And you can't switch off.
True.
And it'd be nice if you can, but if you go to bed at that time,
And then you can't sleep.
you can't sleep.
I
So you
really
get up
do
anyway,
try.
don't you?
I do try, but my thoughts come to me at night time. So I'll be like, just getting
Yeah.
ready to go to bed. And then I'm like, oh my God, need to do this. And then I'm up then and I'm planning it. And I just, it's never ending. It is never ending. But it's good. It's good.
I mean, you do all this with the salon and then let's get into the Pilates studio.
Yeah.
What? Where did that come
I
from?
think there's something wrong with us. I think we're actually sick.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why we put ourselves through this.
Honestly.
But yeah, I'll let you take the Pilates studio away because
So it was like a random Tuesday, I think. And I was just driving back from the gym and I rang Ellie and I was like, so I've got this really good idea. Like, I think I'd been to a Pilates that week in the city centre. And I said, how amazing would it be to have our own aesthetically pleasing community feel Pilates studio in the area, because there's nothing like that round here. There are a few studios, but nothing kind of on the level that the Manchester city centre were doing.
Yeah.
And I said at some point, like maybe in 5 years, like we could open a Pilates studio. I was talking about like the cafe, like all the different things we could do. I was like, so that's something we could look at doing in maybe like 2 or 5 years. And Ellie was like,
I'm a very in the moment person.
Yeah,
so
it
as
is.
soon as she told me that idea, I was like, no, we need to do this right now. We need to jump on this
Yeah.
right now. But then I'm thinking, how am I going to tell Sam? Because she's going to have a meltdown because we've just opened this salon and I know she doesn't want any more stress, but we definitely need to do this now.
yeah. Ellie was like,
So-
no, there's no waiting. We're going
You didn't
for
want to
it.
ask Sam, did you?
I rang Sam and I was like, there's something I need to talk to you about. And that building had actually just come up for rent at the time. So it was like perfect opportunity.
Timing.
I went round, I was like, listen, I don't really know how exactly it's going to work, but I just really think we should open a Pilates studio. And from there, we literally just did it. Like, it was mental.
But where'd you start with that? I mean, it's not a salon. It's something totally, it's not totally different because we're still in the industry, but where'd you
It
even
all
start?
started with a profit and loss sheet that Sam, that we all curated together.
I'm not actually sure. And obviously, I mean, you'd been to a couple of Pilates sessions, but we weren't knowledgeable on Pilates.
this is what I mean. So we just figure things out,
We
and
just
that
knew
is going to be our strapline.
It was the in
sisters.
thing. It was becoming a big thing, and we just took the time to educate ourselves.
And there was a
on what we
massive
doing.
gap for it in this area as well. And we just knew that we could do it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we gave the builders the shock of their life, and we were like, right, this is what we need, and we need it in 2 months. So can you do it? Or
We
can
need
you
it
not?
Done.
And we were like, well, yeah, we can try. And they did it, didn't they?
think
They managed
by-
to pull it together really quickly.
By that point, though, I think the fear had kind of gone, because even though, like, me and Ellie are hairdressers, like, this was still an absolute stab in the dark, opening a salon, like, for you two as well. So I feel like by that point, we're just thinking, well, we've made this
Let's just
work,
try.
so let's,
Yeah.
all we can do is try, definitely.
And it complements the salon experience as well. So everything that we've created 2 doors down is the same values as what we've got here.
Yeah.
So it's a full experience going through to that Pilates studio. You're not just going in and doing a class and leaving. You're having your check-in experience. You've got the wellness cafe in there. So we're looking after your mind, your body, your soul. You can come into the salon after you've done your Pilates class and have a treatment and a blow dry. It's a full experience, and it's all under the You brand. So yeah, we love it. We love it.
So you've got a little coffee, a little coffee shop and everything.
Oh yeah, we're a cafe owners now as well. We don't know
cafe
what we're doing.
Cafe, Pilates, salon.
Yeah, but it's
Bit of
great.
retail in there as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, God.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's brilliant. Love
Just
it.
waiting for the next idea.
Just
I
can
feel like we need
wait?
to take, like, a few months break on the ideas for a minute, maybe, but...
Yeah.
So how did you go from it being, you've now got a Pilates studio? I know you've got marketing background, Sam. Did that really help with trying to get it? Because obviously that is insane what you've done in that Pilates studio. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know where you got your ideas from, but we're going to have to go and have a look around in a minute. You can show me around. I've not been
we'll
for a
show you.
while, but just how did you even start thinking about marketing that? Because it's quite scary, that, and it's very high end what you've done.
Yeah.
So where'd you start with that?
Well, you've just got to do your research basically into the health and fitness industry. So that's the first port of call. You've got to make sure your financials are right. You've got to look at your booking system. You've got to make sure that your membership platform is on point. You've got your class parts, everything. There's a whole kind of business plan that needs to go into it. And in order to, we had to refurb the whole studio because it was just a shell before we even got it. So in order to do that, you've got to pull a business plan together. You've got to look at competitors, you've got to look at your pricing, you've got to look at the industry, as I said, as a whole. And you just kind of flit your way through part by part, and then it just kind of all comes together.
That we learned with the Pilates studio being so different. There's a lot of health and safety regulations that we didn't know about. There was a lot of shocking things that came up, and we didn't really know what to do, but we did it. So I think you learn as you go.
Yeah. We actually got scammed by health and safety a couple of weeks ago. Do you want to tell the story?
We always get scammed.
We get scammed all the time.
Fake health and safety. Ellie's like got all this like paperwork prepared, and it
prepped for like a whole evening and morning, all these answers to food hygiene questions, and it ended up not even being a real company. Oh, yeah. And they were asking me loads of questions that were just not even anything to do with food or drink or anything. And I just sat there and didn't have anything to say back to this man. And I'm going, Sam, I'm going to get shut down. Like, he's just asking I don't know. And then it ended up being, it wasn't real.
It wasn't real.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's a learning curve.
Yeah. Things like that happen all the time.
All the time.
But another thing I will say is with the Pilates studio, if you've not got the full knowledge of everything that you're trying to achieve, then you bring in people who are better at it than you.
Yeah.
So the interview process we went through for our Pilates instructors was we interviewed a lot of instructors. It was so important that we got the right people that knew exactly what they were doing from a reformer perspective. They got all the right qualifications and been doing it for years. And we wanted to make sure that we had the right people in there. Because at the end of the day, it's people are working out in there. We don't want any injuries. We want to make sure that we've got the right people in the business.
Because that equipment is high-end stuff.
It looks a little bit crazy when you're going, a little bit intimidating.
A little bit daunting.
Yeah,
it's like a medieval torture machine or something.
Yeah, but you've got to make sure that the people that are actually doing the work are better than you as well. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like that
and
in
being
any
like
business.
okay with that, because
exactly.
you can't be good at everything, you know.
Exactly.
You've got to let professionals lead.
Yeah,
exactly.
In what they excel in, and the instructors are unbelievably knowledgeable about every single bone in your body, the way you move, and I think that's really important.
It really is.
And they all have a different style as well, don't they?
Yeah. And that makes the customer trust where they're going as well, which is really important.
I love the way you've pulled it into the salon as well.
Yeah.
So it's now all part of the same brand. It's really clever the way you've done that.
Thank you.
So hats off to you girls. You've done amazing.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait to go and have another look around everywhere. But so going back to the salon. So what's next? So you've got your Pilates studios. You've got your salon. What's next? Because I know you're really busy in both. You're booked up now in the Pilates studio. Yeah. You're chock-a-block. I know you said before, Mia, you can't even get a class yourself.
I actually joined the waitlist this morning. I didn't even get on. I was like, no.
It's just gone boom, hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
We've only been open 6 months.
Yeah.
And literally all the classes are sold out. Balance Kitchen came to restock the fridge the other day, and within an hour, everything was gone from the fridge.
Wow.
Like, it's just crazy. But I think having that hand in hand with the salon and the brand having such a good reputation is really what's pushed us in that direction as well.
Yeah.
At the minute, I feel we are taking each day as it comes and just trying to appreciate what's going on, because we've had quite a lot of launches recently. We've just been filming this morning for Jump Board in the Pilates studio, which is going to be launching in March. We've just become a Kerastase salon here, which we went through an approvals process for. So that means that we now offer physio-dose treatments as part of our offering. We've got the retail, which is just here on the left-hand side on the wall, for the best hair care products for people to take home. But I think maybe not the end goal, because we'll always find a new end goal, but we want a full kind of home of You. You is our brand, so how do we develop that? Do we want additional locations that we want to start looking at in the next few years? Do we want to expand? Do we want to bring in a new kind of experience within the hair salon, within the studio? How do we pull all them together? Is there extra locations? All that sort of stuff that we are thinking about at the moment. But we are just trying to focus on the now for a little minute.
One day at a time.
But yeah, The plan is growth. The plan is growth, but to
consistent growth as well.
Yeah,
consistent
we don't want
growth. To dip in anything that we do,
but to keep our standards high. That's the
And
main
I think
thing.
we are very spontaneous as well. Like I said, the Pilates studio got thought of on a random Tuesday. So who knows? Next Thursday, there could be an idea for something else. And that's just kind of how we operate. We just go with our gut and our hearts. And that's how we try and drive things.
Yeah.
So if you could give yourself the best piece of information that you've learned so far along your path. So let's go talking to your 17-year-old self.
Don't take things personally. I think that is something I've really had to struggle with. Yeah. I think it's so easy to let negative comments get to you, or feeling embarrassed, or not feeling confident in yourself. And I think you've just literally got to do what you want. It's your life, and not care what anyone else thinks. And I think that's kind of a place I've only got to just recently. Even though it may have always looked that way on the outside, you do just get to a point where you think, well, this is my life. I'm building this for myself and for my family as well. And I think, just you're on your own journey and don't care about what other people think.
And at your age, Mia, that is such an amazing answer to that question. I love that. It's brilliant.
I think just don't stress over what you can't control. We've definitely love
that one.
We definitely did that way too much, and I think you've just got to let things be as they are, and just go into it with 100%. And if you fail, you just get back up. Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think mine would be delegation, and some things can be done tomorrow. I'd have a to-do list of 30 things on there, and I'd have to get them done today because I was obsessed. But the world isn't going to end if I do a couple of them things tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because, that's definitely my main thing. And I've learned a lot from doing that this year, and I feel a lot better. Yeah. So
I think appreciating the journey as well is massively important.
Yeah.
Reflection.
Yeah.
Things that go wrong are massive lessons, and I think sometimes we panic about them things too much, whereas they lead you into new directions and new paths, and that's actually a really positive thing rather than a negative thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's massively important too.
I think sometimes as well, when we're having a bad day, just sitting back and realising that the salon's full, it's busy, the studio's full, styling out, busy. And I think sometimes you don't appreciate that.
You don't.
Yeah. Even though we don't take it for granted at all, but I think you can get caught up in the stress of the next thing rather than looking at what you have achieved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that long ago, I actually sat on this couch at the front, and everyone had gone home, and I just sat there and I was like, wow, this is actually ours. And it was a really nice feeling, and I've not really done that since we all, because it's been so, this is happening.
You've not had time, though, have you, Ellie? It's been so mad.
And I just looked around and I thought, it's actually really nice in here.
You feel like you get imposter syndrome a little bit, don't you? Like, this isn't mine. I just work here, and that's all that's going on.
That's how it feels sometimes. But I did. I just sat and appreciated all the trolleys that were full, and I thought it was buzzing in here a couple of hours ago, and we've created that, and the team's created that, and it's great.
Yeah, it's amazing what you've done. Absolutely love watching your journeys and seeing where you've started and watching where you're going next. It's just brilliant to watch, girls, because known you for years and years. So to see how far you've come together and the way that you've achieved it is so inspiring. So thank you.
And you've massively supported us as well.
Absolutely.
And we really
throughout
appreciate
the whole journey
to now. Yeah,
we're a good little team, aren't we?
Yeah.
Building each other up is what it's all about.
Yeah.
But I've loved it today. Thanks, girls. Really enjoyed our chat. And can't wait to come do it again soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.